It is time to drop our bags and touch our sack on this mailbag edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got a lot to talk about today. Trade deadline is looming. We have some trade ideas you guys have come up with. We also are talking the latest news and rumors around your Kansas City Chiefs heading into week number 9, that big matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up on Monday night. We will talk about all of it in just a matter of moments here on today's show. This comes from our live show we do on Tuesday afternoons, where you guys can join us and submit questions to us in real time, and we react to them immediately. So if you want to be a part of our next mailbag show, you need to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you're the first to know when we go live and when we have new content here on the channel. We call those folks the Noti Gang. You heard that right. If you're in the Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comment section. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications for the latest happenings of your Kansas City Chiefs each and every day on the channel. Subscribe now for free. Join the Noti Gang. We'll get started with today's show. Brian with a $5 super chat says, bring in a new left tackle to extend that run. Brian, I think you make some good points as far as that goes. The left tackle position, it's been a struggle. We've been taking a ride on the struggle bus, the short bus, if you will, when it comes to that left tackle position. As Kingsley was not good to start the season, Wanya Morris looked awful against the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's the biggest problem facing this Kansas City Chiefs team right now is what are they going to do when it comes to that left tackle position that's been such a problem right now. And you got a guy like David Bakhtiari who's still sitting out there looking for somewhere to play, and he's kind of hinted at the idea that he wouldn't mind playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe that's the solution, but I got to tell you, I'm looking at this situation, and I sure hope that we're not sitting here come February and saying to ourselves the reason why the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl was because they didn't get the help they needed at the left tackle spot. Either they need to figure it out with what they got, or they need to make a move of some sorts because it has not been pretty at that position. KC Fans for Life has an idea to address the tackle position. Could the Chiefs trade for Walker Little from the Jags? I don't hate that idea. Walker Little, not a bad football player, not very old either. And the question that was asked earlier in the Super Chat was about the run blocking. That is Walker Little's strength. His run block rate so far this year, a 69, nice, with a pass block rate of 56.6, overall grade of 58.3. He's only allowed 1 sack so far this year. That could be a cheap potential solution for Kansas City to help out that situation. I don't hate that idea. Could they do it? Potentially speaking. I wonder about the cap situation and all that. But we've seen Brett Veach do some wizard shit over the last couple of weeks with some of the trades he's been able to pull off. So if anyone could do it, it'd be Brett Veach. So I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes either. But it wouldn't be a bad move for Kansas City potentially to bring in Walker Little. Should the Chiefs trade for Walker Little? It is our pinned comment today. You have 2 options here. Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know if you think they should trade for Walker Little or not. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And with Prize Picks, they got a great deal they're offering right now, folks. They will give you $50 to spend for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money, folks. It's that simple. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. This week on Prize Picks, I got Jackson Smith-Njigba, the longest name in the NFL, it seems, with more than 54.5 receiving yards. Also got Jameis Winston to have more than half an interception. I think that's a pretty good guess that Jameis is probably going to throw a pick this week. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, glad to have them on board here on the Chiefs Report. Check them out. You'll be glad you did. David Buck which I found out today, no relation to Joe Buck, writes in, what do you believe is the Chiefs' biggest need before the trade deadline? Great question. So the Chiefs have addressed the wide receiver position with D-Hop. They've addressed the edge rusher position with Josh Uche. All right? So they took care of those things. Now you're looking at the offensive line and the corner position. And the offensive line spot is tough because teams usually aren't shopping quality offensive linemen at the deadline. That typically doesn't happen a whole lot. So offensive line is the biggest need, but the easiest to add would likely be the corner position, as there's plenty of corners out there. So we'll see, but that's kind of the situation Kansas City is looking at the moment. Big Red wants to know, would it be possible for the Chiefs to trade for Jaycee Horn? Big Red, thanks for the question. Kind of like what we mentioned earlier with Brett Veach. If anybody could pull it off, it'd be Brett Veach. Jaycee Horn's on a rookie contract. Very talented football player there with the Carolina Panthers. Already has an interception this season, 9 pass breakups, 34 tackles, 2 TFLs. Jaycee Horn's been pretty solid. Go back to 2022, had a really good year that year, 53 tackles, 2 TFLs, 7 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions. And you get him out of just that awful situation in Carolina and get him onto this Chiefs team that has such a great defense and in a corner room that could use a little help. I think Jaycee Horn's play could elevate quite a bit from what he's doing already in Carolina, where he's not bad. And I don't think you'd have to give up a ton to potentially make that trade. It's really about the money. Can you make the money work? People say the cap is a myth. I think Brett Veach is proving that's true. If you're looking for a corner, that is not a bad option at all. I would love to see Jaycee Horn in Kansas City. Should the Chiefs trade for Jaycee Horn, it is your chance to be Brett Veach and let us know in the chat. You got 2 options here. You can either type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. That's the only options I'm giving you. Y for yes, in for no. Let me know in the comments section. Got time for a few more questions here. Let's go to Tony the Tiger. Tony from El Paso writing in after getting his workout advice from Big Tex. I don't understand why that most people are taking the blame of Patrick Mahomes that we are winning, and they say he's holding us back. That's BS because he's not holding us back. Tony, that's a great take. You are absolutely right about that. Now, Tony, use some commas next time in your questions to make it a little easier to read, if you would, please. But, Tony, I absolutely 100% agree. It is total BS, this idea that Patrick Mahomes is holding this team back. Have you seen what he's got to work with? I mean, he is making the most with what he has. And people want to point to the interceptions, the turnovers. He hurt Rashee Rice, took him out for the season and all that. All right, folks, listen. Listen to me very closely here. Patrick Mahomes, the reason why he's turned the football over is because he's having to get the most he can out of those guys. And sometimes it results in some mistakes. Think about what happened at Texas Tech. All right? People called him a turnover machine, said he was turnover prone there. Well, yeah, he kind of had to be with how bad that defense was and the lack of talent in that Texas Tech team. And you're seeing similar things here where maybe he's trying a bit too hard to find guys because they're struggling to get open or whatever it may be. So, Tony, you're absolutely right about that. Alex Smith tried saying that he's playing his best football right now. I don't agree on that end of things, but I don't think he's holding this team back either, Tony. Last question from Braxton. Braxton wants to know, who do you think will be the Chiefs' big competition for the playoffs? I think the Baltimore Ravens are certainly interesting. They just brought in Deontay Johnson on Tuesday, and that was the biggest question mark about the Ravens receiving room, about that Ravens team, was the receiver room. And now you got better. Zay Flowers has been solid. Obviously, they got some good tight ends with Likely and Mark Andrews. So the Ravens are going to be good. The Texans, I was pretty high on them, but now they lose Diggs for the season. That certainly hurts that team, I think it's those two teams in the AFC. I think it's the Ravens and the Texans that are going to be the Chiefs' biggest competition. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.